Hello and welcome to Chapter 6, the chapter no one wants to cover, that is, Managing SELinux Security. Roll the intro. That's enough. Okay, that's enough of the intro. Hello, welcome back. Welcome to Chapter 6. Managing SELinux Security is the chapter nobody wants to cover because nobody likes SELinux, and that's a fact. Like and subscribe if it helps. The channel will grow. Comment down below. Everything. This really helps. And let's kick things off with SELinux. So, but I was just reviewing our test machines, and I was testing the HTTP access to Rocky 2 just to make sure that it's actually up and running. And here it is. And why do you ask? Because I'm going to use HTTP. The HTTPD server has the our test subject about SELinux, and that's why. So I'm going to focus for the time being on our secondary machine, Rocky 2, just because it's where the HTTP server is installed. So that's going to be our main focus, and in a few minutes you will understand why Rocky 2 is my main subject and why HTTPD it's my kind of my test bed. So I'm gonna get myself some root access, and there we go. And let's just we know that it is up and running, but let's just make sure. So systemctl status HTTPD, there we go, running, enabled. We have done this before in a previous chapter about managing packages and installing services and all of that. So it's functional. So let's discuss what SELinux is. SELinux, it stands for Security Enhanced Linux, and it was built at this point in time, maybe 20 years ago already. That was built to give the Linux kernel the most desired by everybody. I think the urban myth says that it was requested in a way by the NSA. It's just a urban myth. Maybe it's true, to give the Linux kernel the kind of the security stamp of approval, blah 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 blah. It's fine. It's here with us. It's going to stick with us. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to explain to you guys how to put it under control and how to understand that it might be causing our issues and how to fix some issues. Because SELinux, it's its own planet, it's its own ecosystem, and it will be there's just too much to cover in this video. But this is just for you guys to understand what it is, how to get it under control, and also to get ready for the EX200 exam or the EX300 exam, whatever your path is. All right. So let's kick things off with the following. So let's just get this under our belt, which is the possible states of SELinux. Okay, so in a nutshell, SELinux can have three states without any order of importance: permissive, enforcing, or disabled. So in a very short description, disabled. Well, I think you know what disabled means. It's completely off. I cannot type. And just make sure you understand this. SELinux is a kernel feature. It means that this is not a service you can stop. This is not an application you can just kill. It's a Linux kernel feature, which means the way to get it under control, it needs to be by its own methods. It's not stop the service or kill the application. So if you want to get this SELinux to disabled, you need to reboot if it is not. So if its current state is permissive or enforcing, to get it disabled, you need to request a reboot at some point. Okay. So if it's permissive or enforcing, to get it disabled, it will require a reboot. Okay. Permissive. It has no action, so it has no interference, but it will log as it was. which means we will get the logs up and running like it was doing something, but in actual terms, it's doing nothing. So it's not preventing stuff to work, but it will log as it was. It's a nice feature to have. Then we have enforcing, which means all power. That means that it will do whatever it will do all he has to do. It will enforce all its actions and still get the logging. Okay, so you need to decide which method you want to use, permissive, enforcing, or disable, and just set it as accordingly. So let's just understand or find out what is a current state. So getenforce will get us there. So our current state is enforcing, which means that SELinux is doing all its restrictions. It's defending us as hard as it can, even if that hurts us, and delivering all the logging. Okay, so let's do the rest with this in mind. So SELinux, it's doing all he can to protect us, even if it means it breaks our services from working. That's just something you need to live by. Let me get the light here in my direction. There we go. This is just something you need to. You need something you need to live with. If it's enforcing, it's trying to protect us, even if it hurts us. So let's use the HTTP service as an example for me to show you guys how you can and try to detect the issue caused by SELinux and how to fix it. So let's do a quick example. So let's go to the var www.html folder. If you should remember this. If you don't, here it goes. So this is the default folder where our HTTP server is going to pull these files from, and we have a file there that we built in the previous chapter that is giving us that -Rockies thingy-majiggy. So if I go here, if I do NLS -LZ, if you haven't watched how this website came into life, go and check the previous chapters. And it should be on the setting up services chapter. So as you can see here, if I add the capital Z to the ls command, you will see something that it's probably new to most of you guys, which is all of this information. And all of this information is regarding SELinux. I will not dive into much detail about this. I will not dive into all of this, okay, because it's just not necessary for now. But I will focus on this thingy-majiggy here. So this is all files and folders have some sort of SELinux context. In this case, it says httpd syscontent. For example, I can do the same thing to the var folder. I can do the same thing to the etc folder and all the folders. So all files and folders will have some sort of this type of context. Okay. This is where SELinux is going to check if it is okay to use this file or not. And in this case, in our file, it says httpd syscontent, which means that this has some relation to the httpd service. To get that under control, you can go back to the command you already know, which is the ps-ef, and we add the capital Z. If you don't know how to use the ps command, go and check my channel for the managing processes chapter. And I can just grab for httpd, and as you can see, httpd, the process itself, the executable itself, is going to have an SELinux context too. Okay, so it means that all files and folders have an SELinux context, and also the files themselves. And that's how SELinux knows. It crisscrosses everything. It knows, okay, the HTTPD service is trying to touch this file, and it's okay to touch because they belong to the same, let's call it, ecosystem of permissions. As simple as that. Okay, so as you can see, the site is working, which means that, well, it should be working. It was working a second ago, but it is. I just refreshed it a bunch of times. So as you can see here, it's working fine. Hi from blah 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 da da da. The context is it's okay, and it's good to go. So this is just making me a bit confusing. 122. Oh, the IP changed in the meantime. That's fine, and it's not a fixed IP. So there we go. Hi from Rocky 2, and we are good to go. So everything is working as expected. Everything is working fine. Everything is fine and dandy. And we are good to go. Why do I have multiple IPs? I don't know. But I just don't care at this point. At this point, it's fine. This is working. And we are happy with this. So the website is working. Just to make you guys show that it's the same thing. It's Hi from Rocky 2. Just to show you guys that this is the thing we are actually working with. Hi from Rocky 2. Hi again. I will save and quit. And you can see it's the same thing. Okay, so it's the exact same website. So let's make this stop. Let's damage this and blame it on SELinux. So I'm going to back here. As you can see, the context is it's okay. So what we're going to do here is something that might happen with you guys, which is I'm going to copy the file from here to the root folder. Okay, and if I check the file on its new location, since it's a copy, okay, it's the same file with same content, the same content, but now it belongs to different context. Now the new file, this is a copy. I still have my original one. Okay, I still have my original one. Okay, but now I have a copy of the file on the root folder, and the file context is completely borked. Well, it's not borked, it's correct for where I copy it to, but for the HTTPD, it's borked. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to move from the root folder to the current folder, which is variable HTML. Oops, and I just did again a boo-boo. So let's fix that. I just moved the whole folder, which is not what I want. So let's move the root folder back to where it belongs to. Let's check the file again. Let's do -lz. I'm sorry, LAZ. And as you can see, the file, it's borked, okay? So it still has the wrong context. So I'm going to move the file from the root folder. So don't do as I did, specify the file, the var HTML, which is basically the one I'm here. And I'm going to overwrite the file. So let's review this. So I'll copy the files to the root home folder. And since it's a new file, it created a new file with new context. Then I'm going to move it from the root folder back to where it belongs, and I overwrote the one that was already there. So if you're following along, don't do it as don't do this like I did. Don't move the root folder to here. You just want to move the file itself. Now after moving the file is here. It has the same content, but the SELinux context, it's borked. So if I refresh here, most likely it will just fail. Okay. If you want to see a more clear information, you can force the website to touch the file, and you can see it's forbidden. Okay. Why? Because the file is there, the regular permissions look okay, but the context, it's borked. So if I do an ls-l to the file as normal, you will not see any problems. It looks fine. You just need to be aware that if you add the capital Z, then you will see the SELinux context being borked. So this is wrong. Admin home T, it's not okay. Admin home T, it's not okay to be touched by the HTTPD server. So it's forbidden. So if you want to check the logs, you can just check tail var log messages. As you can see, there's nothing obvious, but you can just check the secure log, and then you can get something out of this. And even though this is, well, as you can see, we're getting nothing. Okay, and this is expected. I set this up. If I check the secure log again without the tail, we see there's nothing specific about the event that just occurred. So I'll just give a few refreshes and still nothing probably. Okay, this is normal in a way and not normal in a different approach. So this means that we are not getting the SELinux exceptions logged. And that can be expected if you don't have the correct service installed, in this case Rocky 2. So Rocky 2 has the web server. SELinux, it's doing its thing. It's operating as expected, but you don't see any logs. Okay, that's expected in our case because Rocky 2 was installed using the minimal install. Okay, so Rocky 2 was installed using the minimal install. So we don't have the SE troubleshoot service installed. So let's fix that. So let's do search, DNF search, and then let's search for SE troubleshoot. Okay, so this is the service you need to have installed to get the logs and some other tools. So let's do, if you don't see the logs, but the SELinux it's acting, SELinux is acting as expected. You just don't see the logs. Okay, so we can do DNF install, add the SE troubleshoot -y. So if you see SELinux acting as expected, you don't see the logs. This is why. You install the SE troubleshoot D service, and you just wait. Rocky 1 has this already installed because it's a more full install in a way, and we can just let it do its thing. It will take a while because there are a few packages, but they are all smallish, so it shouldn't take too long. I could have done this beforehand, but I wanted to show you guys the things occurring and how to fix them, because that was something that was requested in the comments, that more troubleshooting. So here we are, more troubleshooting. So if you don't see the logs, you just install, and this should be good enough. So let's just do a few refreshes, getting the errors up and running, and you go to the secure, and now you see more stuff. Okay, so you can see here that okay, still no reference to the SELinux thingy. Let's try the messages, and there we go. Now you can see here all the errors are popping up, and you can see this like something around the lines where this is not really okay, here we go. So you can just pause the video here, and you can see that our message is getting created and explaining the reasoning. But if you really want to get the full details, you need to run the this guy here. So this is going to give you all the details of that specific event, and I refreshed multiple times, which means that you're going to see this multiple times to popping up. So this is going to give you all the full details. I'm not going to dive much into this, but if you want to pause the video here or do yourselves work in our test machine and explore. But basically this is telling you that SELinux is blocking the access because it's doing its thing. So that's as simple as that. So how can we fix this? There are many ways you can go about fixing that. And if you check the logs and the EXE alert thingy, you will see that it's going to give you some suggestions on how to fix it. But the suggestions that they give you is not always the best, so trail carefully. But this is my train of thought is like this one. So let's just make sure that SELinux is causing this, make sure that he is. So I can do a command called getenforce, and I can do permissive. And if you remember, the permissive means that it's going to allow everything to occur. So it's not going to restrict, but the logs keep getting written down. So I still get new logs like it was preventing, but he's not preventing. He's letting things happen, but the logs keep getting written down and being created. Okay, so this is these are new events getting written down. So I refresh, and these are new events getting written down. Okay, cool. How do I fix this? So let's make sure that actually is. Oh, we can also do 0 for permissive, 0 for permissive, and 1 for enforcing. So this is easier. We're back on the problem. So okay. So if I go an ls -lz, you'll see that the context is bad. That's because we caused the issue to occur. So we need to fix this to the correct one. there are two ways. I'm going to show you one for now. Let's do the LAZ, so you can see the current folder, and you can see that the current folder, it's fine. So the folder is okay. It's the file that it's damaged. The folder is okay. The file, it's damaged. Damaged in a way. It's not actually damaged. It's just not working properly as expected on the with SELinux. Okay. So let's fix this to match the folder because the folder is okay. So let's do restorecon. -vr in the file. This is going to tell you that, okay, I'm going to change this from admin to the correct one. As you can see, this was changed from here to there. We refresh and everything is fixed. See? So this is kind of one of the best case scenarios. That is, the file is not working properly, but it's in the folder, that the folder is okay. So the folder is okay, but contains a damaged file. So you just fix the file according to the folder. If you want to be really, really lazy, you just do this and it should fix all the files. It not fix any file just because it was already fixed. Pretty okay. Now let's do a different scenario. So let's create a folder called mkdir -p. So let's call this var sites /www. And you go here and let's call this vi index.html, and let's call it new Rocky 2. This is going to be our new website, our new default website. Okay. Now I'm going to change the configuration. I'm going to do a very simple and crude change. So don't cringe yourself. I'm going to change the default website. I'm not going to do anything really crazy. I'm just going to change the document root. I could be more fancy, but okay, var sites. And I forget the name already. It's called var sites www. Okay. www. I'm going to change the default site. I could do much fancier things, but bear with me, keep it simple. So var sites www. Whoops. www. And this isn't needed, but var sites www. Okay, this should be good enough. Yeah. So I'm going to write and quit. I'm still looking at the old site because I did not restart the service. So systemctl, restart httpd. No news, good news. I refresh and I get a forbidden. Let's put this in permissive mode. And now it works. Now it does not work. Okay. And you guys know why. Because if I go to my new location, if you do ls-lz, you'll see that the file is borked. And in this case, the folder itself is also borked. Okay. So this is a completely new folder, has nothing to do with SELinux, which means that we have a borked folder and a borked file. So we need to fix the folder first, then you can fix the file. Okay. If you want to make sure, you can do Semanage. And let me put this a little bit away from my big noggin. You can do Semanage fcontext -l. Am I right? Yeah. And you can just grep for sites. And you'll see that the word sites pops, but it's not our var sites. And you can go for www, and you'll see that the old www folder is already there. So first you need to create an exception for our new location, and then you can fix the file. Okay. So if you search for grep www and then grep for HTML, you see that our older folder or the default folder it's already there. So our new folder it's not. So we need to make sure that our folder will pop in this list. So let's go for sites, then www. So this is just a coincidence. Okay. So we need to make sure that our var sites will show up like this one shows up too, and it doesn't. To do so, you need to do we need to change that context, and thankfully we can just check the man page for that, because they have their quite a good of a guide to do so. So so I just need to go to the I completely forgot the command. Jesus Christ, my brain just for a minute kind of frozen. So like I said, I am not going to I'm not going to cut this out. I'm just going to check my, you'll see me struggling with my own mind, and I'm going to check my notes. That's life. Okay. So my notes, let me get my notes, because I completely forgot the commands, and like I promised, I am not going to edit out my troubleshooting or my thought process. So give me a second. I'm just screaming through my files, so to my notes. Okay, da-di-da-di-da. This is the listing. Yep. Oh yeah, I just remembered. It's not that hard. So if you go to the Semanage manual, Semanage man page, if you go down, you'll see the sub page for the fcontext. So this is the one you want to check. So Semanage, that's fine. You can fix this. Fcontext. If you go down, you go to the examples section, and lucky enough, you have an example here for the HTTP server. Okay, so just copy and paste this. Of course, you need to change the context accordingly to what you are troubleshooting. So right now we are troubleshooting the HTTPD service, so it's very convenient that the man page covers the HTTPD service. But that's one of the hardest part of SELinux. It's trying to find the correct context for the correct server or service or application. But that's a different story. So just need to make sure that this matches the service you want to open an exception for. Okay? In this case, it's very convenient because a man page includes an example for the web service, but you just need to check or Google, this time Google is your friend, and get which context is correct for the application or service you want to open an exception for. So this is var sites www. Okay? Don't put the end slash. Don't do this. Don't put the end slash. Just leave it open, because the end slash it's already covered by this regular expression. Okay? So this is going to add this new exception to the metadata. So right here you already see our new location that you were not seeing yet. So the metadata contains an exception for the new context for the new folder, but the files themselves don't have it yet. So the files themselves still show the old approach. So the files themselves still show the old context, not the new one. Why? Because you need to do the restorecon -vr and just do a star, and it should be okay. Now, yeah, everything is fine. So the file is now in its correct context, HTTP content T, which means that if I refresh this, now it works, and you can just getenforce. It's enforcing, and it's working fine. So because the file or let's do the LZ. So the file now has its correct context. Okay. If you want to do be even better, you can do vr www and all the things in between, just to make sure. But you should be okay. And if you go there, you see that now the file is correct, and we should be good to go. And we are, because the exception was opened, so the new location is now good to go. So it shows on the metadata for the SELinux context database, if you want to call it like that. So this folder, it looks perfectly fine, and the files that are within it are also perfectly okay. So since the file is okay, this is okay, and also in theory at least, all the new files that you add here will also be okay. So let's check the logs just for funsies. Where is my tail for the secure? It should be somewhere around here somewhere. I have used it, and I'm going through the long way. There we go, and nothing is popping up, so which means that there are no issues to show. So we are pretty good to go. So you did the restorecon to the folder. You can also do, if you want to be really nicely done, you should go to the sites and do a restorecon to the main folder. Okay, so you just go to the sites folder. Now the sites folder should look okay. There we go. See, and now the www folder also looks okay. So the folder itself and the files themselves are shipshape. So you should go to the main folder that contains the subfolders with the subfiles. Do restorecon to the folder that contains the files, and everything is shipshape. So the www folder, it's okay, and also the files are okay, and also future files should be okay. Woo! Okay, so SELinux, it's under control. You know how to fix a folder with the correct context. So just make sure, be aware that when you do the fcontext thingy-majiggy, you need to make sure that this has the correct context. I'm sorry, this here. This needs to be set with the correct context for the correct server or service, and it should be a-okay and good to go in that aspect. If it's HTTPD, if it's anything else, it should list here the other service that suits your needs. Woohoo! All right, so let's go back to the getenforce command. So the getenforce allows you to set between enforcing and permissive. And you may be asking, how do I set this to disabled or enabled? Don't forget that to set this to disabled, you need to reboot. Okay, so if you do like this, getenforce right now it's enforcing, it's fine. So you can swap between enforcing and permissive at your leisure. You can just swap it out from one to the other at your leisure with no issues. But if you're going to put this in disabled state or back to enforcing state, if it's disabled, you need to reboot. So if I wanted to put this as completely disabled, if I'm going to make sure that the getenforce tells me disabled, you need to reboot the server. But first you need to do this. So just vi the etc default. I'm sorry, this has changed recently. So etc SELinux config, etc SELinux config. You go here to the mode and you just put it to disabled, and then you reboot, and it's disabled. Okay. This is the default mode on the next reboots. So since this list enforcing, it means that in the next reboots, it will be set to enforcing. If you put this to disabled, it means that on the next reboots, it's going to be set to disabled, and so on and so forth. You can also do this with the kernel command. I will not show how it's done, but you can also go to very low level and set the kernel itself and set this on the kernel level. So you can, at the kernel level, set it to disabled, but I will not show you this at this point. This is enough for you guys to progress successfully. Ooh, not bad. Just one more thing before we wrap up this video. which are called the booleans. So file context, it's what I just mentioned. Files and folders that need to match the correct binary file, the correct executable, the correct service in a way. So he matches the files or folders to the service, and if they match, they are allowed to interact. But there are more things. There are users that you can interact, firewall rules in a way that you can interact. That's for another video. But now let's discuss booleans. Booleans, it's if you can or want to authorize a certain feature to be A-OK. For example, if you want to allow anonymous uploads for the FTP server, that's not a file context, that's not a folder context, that's just you authorizing something to occur, right? So what we're going to do now is I'm sorry, why? Don't do. Okay, so what we want to do now is to allow a certain feature to occur. So it's not something about permissions or actions or file context or interaction between files, and services. It's just a server feature that can or cannot occur successfully. Like, for example, anonymous uploads. We're not going to do that anonymous upload thingy on the SELinux, on the HTTPD. We're going to enable something called the home folders, which means that if you want, we can allow our users to be able to access their home folders through the web server. For example, I will make sure that the student user can do this and can see its file, the contents of its home folder. You'll understand a little bit better in a few minutes. So let me guide you through how it's done. So first you go here, then you'll find a folder that is called the user dir. It's already here. So just edit this file. And you go here, user dir. It shows disabled. You just need to do and add the option that is there. It's not enabled. It says disabled, but it's not enabled. You add this. I fell on that mistake many times. So even though the default says disabled, you don't put enabled here. You put public HTML. Oops, sorry. Let me fix that. And now restart. But it's not enough still. Okay? Because SELinux it's kind of not liking the thingy. Let's do the following. Let's do getenforce permissive. So we can fix the service itself. So it's permissive. Let's make sure. Permissive. So this is not SELinux doing its thing. This is just the service itself and finish it. It's not still correctly configured. So if I go, let me then go back to my student user, to my home folder. So now I'm not root now. I'm back as student. I'm going to do create a folder called public HTML. Okay. And I'm going to do something really simple like Dutch file. If I refresh, I should not be able to see it yet. Let's just do a new, because the permissions are not correctly set on my home folder. So to fix them, going back to root. If I can type my own password. I'm going back to my to the home folder. I'm going to do chmod. I'm going to set the others can read to the student user and its subfolders. So others have read access. So if I go to the student users home folder, the public HTML has read for the others. And I still get the forbidden. Okay. Let's troubleshoot, shall we? Okay, so am I typing this correctly? Student. Okay. So let's go back here. Let's troubleshoot this further. Let's go to the home folder. -L. And everybody has reads. Oh, I need to give him also the execute permission. Because read is not enough. So let's go Rx. You should be now. Okay, it works. So read is not enough. You need to also give them the execute so they can actually access the folder. Okay. So now it's working. If I go to my student users home folder, public HTML, the others have write and execute so they can actually access this folder. And now it's working. As you can see, I can see it. Let's do getenforce 1. Now I should fail. Forbidden. See? Now if I check the logs, you just see the jibber jabber blah 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 about all of this and all about the all about that failing access that is actually occurring because you know the answer because it's the getenforce. You'll see that it's enforcing, which means that we are not being able to access because SELinux is just preventing the access. So this is not a file you can fix. This is not a folder you can fix. This is not nothing. It's not none of that. Okay, it's a boolean. There is no problems with the file contexts or the folder contexts. This is a problem with the boolean that is not authorizing users to access their home folder through HTTP. How do I check that? Get setsebool and we get the -L, capital L. How do I get no, I'm sorry. Semanage boolean -L. Why is my keyboard now not? Well, I will just work around this. I'm typing this badly. It's boolean with 2 O's. Okay, so with this command here, which is this semanage boolean -L, you get all the booleans, all the OKs and no OKs of the system. If I do a pipe more, why is my keyboard completely not correct? Okay, pipe more. And you can see you have two states, the states and the default. This is a current state of the boolean. This is the state on the consequent reboots. So this is a current state. This is at the reboot level. So let's do a quick grep about that. So home, let's search for home. And this is the one we want. So this, I know I went directly to the correct one because I know what I'm looking for. That's one of the many challenges about SELinux is to find what you are looking for. Okay. In this case, I went straight to what I wanted because I know what I was looking for. If you didn't know that, this requires some research, some googling, and all of that, so you can find the one that you actually want, or the Google or the man pages. But this is the one we want. So you want this to be on. So on right now and on the next reboots. So let's do that. Let's do getenforce enable home dirs on. I'm sorry. I'm so dumb. Set setsebool. That's how we do it. Okay. And now we should go back to the listing. Enable home dirs. There it is. So it's on right now, but it's not on the reboot. Why? Because I need to do a -P here. P means permanent, which means now it should look on, which means that it's right now it's on. On the next reboot, it's also going to be on. And now this is back at a working state. Why is the intro popping? Damn intro, man. well, since we're talking about the intro, like and subscribe, it really helps. Comment down below, because it really, really helps the channel to grow and to get this out as many people as possible. Well, that was SELinux for you guys. This is chapter something, I forget if it's important to you, chapter 6, about on the RH134 course. Okay. Like and subscribe, it really, really helps the channel to grow. It's really nice if you like, subscribe, and comment, because that really helps the channel to actually grow and get these videos to as much people as possible. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you on chapter 7, which I don't remember which one it is, but anyway, like and subscribe, it really helps, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers, guys.